Welcome back. Let's go back and hear from the former hijacker Frikkie, who tells us about their modus operandi. What happens to the vehicles that you hijack? Where does it go to from there?
The Ford Rangers and the Mercedes-Benz, they jump the border. There are people who are working with those bosses where we just drop them, and then those ones, they pay them to transport, to drive those cars to jump the border.
And the other cars, do they go locally for spare parts maybe?
Yes, especially at the scrapyards.
How quick is it to remove a tracking device?
The last time I saw them taking it out, it doesn't even take 3 minutes.
And where do you take it out?
Most of the time they use right in the middle of the road, somewhere in a location where everyone is passing. It will be like they're fixing a car, but if you can think normally, if you are okay in your mind, you will see that how can people stuck with the Ford Ranger, a new Ford Ranger.
When you do a hijacking, are you scared?
We don't do hijacking while we are sober. It's not easy because sometimes you end up doing it to a police officer not being aware.
So when you say you're not sober, what do you do?
We smoke, sometimes we smoke ganja, because I don't take drugs. I prefer ganja and then I take alcohol.
So the ganja makes you quite confident?
I become high and I don't become scared at all.
Did you ever pull the trigger?
No.
Not even warning shot?
No. Because immediately pull a trigger, that's a sign that's where even the police that were just passing, they will get their attention from us. So we don't pull a trigger at all.
And which are the areas you targeted most?
In Gauteng, we were targeting Santen, 4 ways, like the areas where we know that there are those cars that we want. If they said Ford Rangers, we go to a nearest car rental dealers. We check the Ford Rangers number plates, and then we go and buy number plates with those numbers. There is someone who's printing us number plates at that moment.
And any policemen involved with your gang at the time?
There were policemen who were involved that we used to help us, especially to tell us on the radios which side mustn't we go, or the car that we are driving, there is a car that is following us. Since they are having a radio on them, they'll be telling us that if you are this direction, there is a car that they just told us now that it's moving this direction, and make sure that you change the direction or drop the car there and disappear.
Shocking. I'm joined now in the studio by the president of the International Association of Auto Theft Investigators, Philip Opperman, to discuss car hijackings. Good evening to you, Philip, and welcome. What do you make of Frikkie?
He's a very honest criminal. It's exactly what they do. Unfortunately, you know, there's been the hijackings. They can't do it sober. It's done, and normally by 3 to 4 people. And he's exactly honest. His words are too true.
I mentioned earlier an average of 45 hijackings each and every day in South Africa. 16,000 and some odd the official crime stats. We have a crisis.
Correct. No, it is a crisis.
And what are we doing about this crisis?
Well, there's a lot of initiatives happening at the moment, and I could just mention the IATI initiative, which we got an IPPP. We've got a public-private partnership with law enforcement, with private entities. We get involved with cross-border activities, been very successful.
But Philip, with the high crime stats we have, these partnerships are not being effective.
Well, these partnerships are fairly new, so really the police are struggling out there. Since they've done away with specialized units and things, it's a battle out there.
Will the return of the special unit, for example, the anti-hijacking unit, make a difference?
No doubt.
So why are the police not doing it?
I think Minister Bekkie is busy looking at that.
How many years will it take him, do you think?
Hopefully quicker, sooner than later.
Let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Yes.
Which are the most popular cars being hijacked?
Hijackings, there's 2 categories. You've got the your commercial vehicles, which is hijacked for the load. And then You've got the high-value SUV vehicles. Those are exactly like Brati said, is on orders. So it depends on the order. There isn't actually a popular
No,
as
but
such.
I saw a list of the most popular cars being hijacked. Why don't we name and shame them?
It's across the board.
So you're telling me all cars are being equally hijacked?
Well, it depends on the orders. You got the Ford Rangers going, you've got the Toyota Hiluxes, you've got the X5s, you've got all of them. But as technology is increasing, they can't steal them anymore, they have to hijack them to fulfill these orders.
Philip, we heard from Brati a very worrying trend, not relatively new, but for some time, where they hijack you, they take you hostage. They then hold you for a few hours, they wait for midnight, draw more money. That is very scary. That's a very worrying trend. And what is being done about that?
That, unfortunately, is one of their modus operandis, and there's an increase in that. And not only is it just holding them, women are raped, men are badly beaten. It's a crisis. And what it is it started with, while trying to uninstall the hijacking device, they've got an opportunity. So they find cards, and it's like he says, additional revenue. It's a bonus.
He spoke how easily it is to remove a tracking device, under 3 minutes, openly in some of the areas. What's the alternative? Are these tracking devices even effective?
Tracking devices are effective. And if you look, hijacked vehicles with a tracking device, 87% of them are recovered because it happens immediately. There's a quick response to it, and they are recovered. 87% of those vehicles are recovered.
Well, on the line we have Takalani from Tembisa. Good evening to you, Takalani. What's your question or your comment?
Good evening, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Your question or comment, please.
I've got a comment. Listen, it is just very clear that what Brati is saying there is that the police are contributing to the crime that is happening to the country. So, these criminals, they can just go out there and target people for no reason. So, obviously, the contribution of the SAPS members is a very disgrace because the reason that they're hijacking people, obviously, there should be a tip-off for them to say, guys, go to these areas. So, it is clear that when they go to those areas, they'll be having more information on how things are supposed to be done. So that's clearly that there's a deal done before everything happens, and so it is a very great concern to say the SAPS members are one of the great people that are contributing to the crime.
Right. Thank you for your call, Takalani. In fact, Philip, I want to pick up on that. Brati mentions police involvement. Last week we had a convicted robber talking also about police involvement. How rife is it, and what is being done, in your view, about that?
My view, well, Minister Bekele has taken a very strong view on that, and it started already, and corruption is getting ruled out. There has been corruption. You will always get corruption, but it's being worked on, and they've taken it exceptionally serious.
Are police making progress, yes or no?
Yes, I would say.
So hang on, if police are making progress, Philip, the 45 average would probably come down to, what, 10, hopefully next year?
The biggest problem that SAPS have is the working with National Prosecuting Authority. Police are getting the cases, they're making the arrests, criminals are getting out on bail. There's no proper communication with National Prosecuting Authority and the investigator.
So the criminal justice system is our problem?
It is a problem. And they are recommitting crimes, Yusuf. He's out on bail and he's committing that same crime.
Well, I had a similar case the other day where somebody got out of bail and committed 40 more hijackings. Well, on the line we have Mapule from Alexandra in Gauteng. Good evening to you, Mapule. Your question or your comment?
Hi, good evening. My comment is the tracker companies, they should really put more stringent measures in place to ensure that they can see when their employees provide information outside the boundaries. Why are you in an account? What were you doing? Like they would do in the bank. They should start doing that because they work hand in hand with the criminals, where you find that where would the criminals know where the coordinates are? How? And that 3 minutes, they surely would know this is where the coordinates are. I have a friend whose car was hijacked, a brand new Q7. It was hijacked within day 2 of that car being bought by her husband. And when she was in the boot of that car, the criminals were talking to someone from the tracker company, where they were giving information as to where the tracker is.
Thank you for your call, Mapule. Philip, are tracking companies complicit?
You know, that's why it's very important.
Or rather staff members?
It's very important to choose a credible tracking company because they've got very strict criteria in terms of polygraphing their installers and all of that. You do get the odd, you will get maybe a disgruntled installer who now becomes a complicit to uninstalling hijacking systems.
A real problem indeed, Philip.
It could be a problem.
Well, we continue after the break. Remember to use the hashtag CrimeWatch on social media.